And to answer that question, we've come to southwestern Germany. Just over that way is France in about 5 miles. But we're heading to Munich, which is that way, 230 miles. That's about the same distance between New York and Boston. Sometimes that trip takes up to 8 hours. On a good day, 4. But today, we're going to go as fast as we can through southern Germany and then on to the Autobahn. And we're going to try to figure out, well, is it about the education of the drivers in this country that make us so good? Or is it about the cars and the infrastructure? And we've got the perfect car for the job, the new Audi RS7. Now we only have one day to shoot this whole film and get to Munich, so this is going to be very interesting. All our gear is in this car, and we have one support vehicle that's meeting us halfway. This is a true and authentic story of getting across Germany as fast as possible. We started our journey on the roads through the Black Forest. Roads which many of the best German sports cars have been tested by company engineers. Long, twisty, and not so much traffic, even by European holiday standards. So why did we choose the Audi RS7 for this story? Well, it's a proper German saloon. And on all these roads, especially on the Autobahn, I don't think I would want anything else. You want something that's big, powerful, and especially with all of our gear, it kind of simulates if you're taking a week-long trip throughout Europe. When you're going down these long country roads, they do have some dips and undulation to them. This air suspension is actually very good. I have no complaints. Which is important for the journey, as while dashing across the country, you'll never actually find a straight shot. They've done a great job with the suspension to make it feel nimble on the road. It's got a big footprint, but it feels nimble. The sound in the cabin is not that loud, to be quite honest with you, but when you go outside and you hear the car passing by on its own, oh my God! On the car we're driving right now, we've got the equipped heads-up display, which the more and more I use it, I wouldn't want it any other way. You concentrate so much better on the road. So much power. Now in the performance department, up front you've got a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 pushing about 560 horsepower and 512 pound-feet of torque. This is the top-of-the-line RS. It comes from Quattro GmbH. Again, Quattro GmbH is a whole separate company from Audi. They have their own VIN number style. They build cars with a performance mindset, much like M, much like AMG. Now the purpose of today's trip is to drive as fast as possible, legally, from one side of Germany to the other, and to discover if it's really about the infrastructure, the roadway network, or about the drivers behind the wheel of the car. I think one of the greatest parts of driving in Germany is that there are systems in place, and everyone respects those systems. Spirited driving on mountain and country roads, it's acceptable. But in return, extremely low speed limits in villages, and everyone just respects that. Now everyone knows that the driving standards, the process to get your license is much more difficult in Germany than any other country in the world. It's that seriousness that makes it special. It's the respect of how the system works, and everyone follows it. As a driver, you're not the one, you're the one of many, and everyone is on the same page. Unlimited speeds, absolutely, but you respect the rules that do exist. I think that's one of the biggest problems we have in the United States, is that the driver education doesn't teach you things like this. No one adheres to any lane etiquette. There are no rules. What I love about Germany is that everyone has lane etiquette, unless of course they're from Poland, Italy, or Belgium. But the Germans, they get it. It is the most efficient way of thinking about it. It is basic fluid dynamics. Funny, I know, but you actually have to think about traffic like a liquid. It flows. This is our first fuel stop for the day. We've done about 350K on a tank, which is pretty good for the speeds we've been doing. And then you get out and you walk away from the car, and then you come back and you don't realize, holy God, how big this car is. It is gigantic. You can't believe it's been doing the things you've just been doing. the speeds that you've been going. It doesn't make much sense. And then also think that normally when we do these shoots, we have a support vehicle carrying all of our camera equipment. Not so on this trip. We've got 200 pounds of Pelican cases and camera equipment in the back of the sport bag. And we're doing these speeds. And we're going through these turns. That's amazing. That's astonishing. Now the thing to remember about the RS7 is that it's actually got a limiter based off its brakes and tires. So we've got the non-ceramic package, the steel brakes, and the non-DRC. So we're actually limited to about 174 miles an hour. But if you were to get the ceramics and DRC, you would actually get that limiter up to 190 about. I have a very strange feeling that the limiter in this car is not 175, but much further than that. Past generations of Audis have always claimed this limiter and then just they don't exist. So let's give it a shot. Construction work. Every time we get a good run, we got construction. Got to slow down. Always something. It's very difficult to get these speeds. Back to unrestricted. Come on, we can do this. $7, $240, $250, $260. Come on, guys, get it out of the way. Set down. The Autobahn, as the legacy may have it, the Autobahn has a lot to offer, but these days it's so crowded. Traffic and construction makes it extremely difficult to get up to the speeds you think you can go. It's a lot. It takes a lot out of you. Whoa. That was rough.